An hour and 40 minutes before tip-off, Indiana Fever fans who had flown in from across the globe found out Caitlin Clark wasn't playing. Not from an injury report filed the day before, not from any official announcement that morning, but from a last-minute scratch that came out of nowhere. And then Stephanie White stood at a podium and told reporters, "She's healthy, we're not managing anything, this is just a back issue." Healthy? But also a back issue serious enough to scratch your franchise player an hour before the game? Those two things can't both be true. Caitlin Clark fans are furious, staging a boycott of the Indiana Fever after another Caitlin Clark lie with Gainbridge Fieldhouse facing 7,000 empty seats. And what's worse is that this game against the Portland Fire just proved 3 more lies from Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever organization, which we'll get to in a bit. What should the Indiana Fever do to get the trust of the fans back? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Look at the amount of empty seats at this game, folks. I mean, look at that. Wow. Oh my God, that entire, wow, look at that. I mean, there were plenty of empty seats you could see on the television, but that did not tell the story. Look at that.
These fans didn't wake up on May 20th angry at the Indiana Fever. They woke up trusting them. They'd bought plane tickets, booked hotel rooms, driven for hours because nothing on any injury report, 0. The Fever filed absolutely nothing about Clark's back, so fans had no reason to think anything was wrong. And they showed up expecting to watch the best player in the league do what she does.
I don't know if Caitlin staying with the Indiana Fever makes sense. It's also something where I think if this were an NBA franchise, this was an NBA organization, people would be fired by now. This is the face of the league, your franchise player, your star player who's never had injuries. People would be fired by now. People would be fired expeditiously.
The WNBA has a specific rule about this. Teams are required to report player injuries, illnesses, or any reason a player might miss time by 5 p.m. local time the day before a game. That rule exists so fans, broadcasters, and the league itself can plan around it. If it's the second night of a back-to-back, the deadline shifts to 1 p.m. on game day. Either way, the Fever missed it. Coach White later confirmed that Clark didn't practice on Tuesday and received treatment for her back, which means the team knew something was wrong before May 20th, which means they had a window to file a report and chose not to, or just didn't bother. Instead, the scratch dropped roughly 100 minutes before tip-off, right around the time the arena doors opened. Fans were already pulling into parking lots. Some were probably already inside. And that's when they found out Clark wasn't playing, because of a back issue that apparently nobody knew about until that afternoon.
Steph, when did you guys find out that Caitlin would not be able to play today?
About 5 o'clock.
Did she say that there was pain? How did that all kind of come to pass?
Just woke up with some stiffness and some soreness, and we like to see, again, like I always say, like, how do you respond after a workout? Is it for us, it's not the time to take a chance. We just really want to be cautious.
You know if there's any concern beyond today?
No, there's not, or I don't know.
Then White stood at a podium after the game and said, word for word, "She's healthy. We're not managing anything. This is just a back issue that we want to make sure we give the time to be ready." Read that back slowly. She's healthy, but she also has a back issue. But also the team isn't managing anything. You can't make all 3 of those statements true at the same time. A healthy player doesn't get scratched 100 minutes before tip. A team that isn't managing anything doesn't pull their franchise player without any advance notice. White kept circling back to the same contradictory language without ever landing on a straight answer.
Did Caitlin participate in practice yesterday?
She did not participate in practice. She got treatment yesterday and went through workouts after practice.
Is this something that you all anticipate could be ongoing, or?
I don't anticipate that, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
Reporters at the post-game press conference pushed her on it directly, asking whether this was load management.
Steph, just following up on Caitlin from earlier, she didn't practice yesterday. Why was she not listed on the injury report, or why wasn't the injury report updated like earlier today if she woke up with soreness in her back?
Well, not everybody that doesn't practice or gets a pro day is on the injury report, so that happens all the time. And she wasn't listed on the injury report earlier because we expected her to play.
And is she injured? I guess is a fair question. Is she injured, or is it something other than an injury?
Her back is sore. So if there's anything more detailed than that, that's the training staff.
ESPN's Alexa Philippou, Yahoo Sports, and the
We see it happen, even if it's not the coach's fault, even if it's not the training staff's fault, somebody has to go down for it. And that's what happens literally in every other league. We literally just saw Jason Kidd get fired from the Mavericks organization because they had a horrible season, and they have Cooper Flagg. Like, they're not going to waste time when you have a talent like Cooper Flagg with the Mavericks. We see this happen so often. People would already be gone and fired if this continues to happen. And so we'll just wait and see.
They'll still call a sellout. Gainbridge Fieldhouse holds roughly 17,000 people. And on May 20th, somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 of those seats had a body in them. Fans on social media posted videos showing black seats everywhere, rows and rows of empty sections that nobody bothered to fill. That's the most honest thing the Indiana Fever communicated all night. The Fever will almost certainly report this game as a sellout, because the WNBA counts tickets sold, not people who actually walked through the door. That's how the league has always done it, and Indiana isn't going to volunteer a different number. But there's a real difference between tickets sold and people sitting in seats, and on May 20th, that difference was somewhere around 7,000 people, all visible on camera, all documented, all impossible to spin away. You can call it a sellout on paper, but you can't unsee those empty rows.
Those tickets that I've been showing you, by the way, resellers had dropped tickets to $8 and like 35 cents. Something like that. $8, and they got down to $8.35. Didn't sell. Did not sell. People are angry. That announcer saying Gainbridge was sold out when I can see lots of empty seats where my own eyeballs is hilarious.
Those missing fans weren't stuck in traffic. They weren't watching from a bar downtown. A lot of them had already traveled, already spent money on flights and hotels, and then found out with less than 2 hours before tip-off that Clark wasn't playing, with no real explanation attached. So some of them decided that if the Fever wasn't going to be straight with them, they weren't going to hand the organization their presence either. That's not apathy. That's a deliberate choice. And the empty seats are what that choice looks like from a broadcast camera. Resellers got absolutely wrecked by this. Tickets reportedly dropped to as low as $8 or $10, cheaper than a fast food combo, because nobody wanted them and there was no time left to find a buyer willing to pay anything close to face value.
There's empty seats everywhere. In this day, over there, over there, over there, over there, all through there. Wow. Wow. I mean, I'm going to tell you, Caitlin Clark fans are pissed. Ken Swift, I got messages from several fans who came a long way to see the game. I don't know what the Indiana Fever do now.
This is the lowest physical attendance at a Fever game since Clark was drafted, which is genuinely hard to wrap your head around if you watched what happened in 2024, when Indiana was turning people away and selling out every night. The Fever built their whole marketing identity around Clark's arrival and what it meant for the franchise. That identity absorbed a real hit on May 20th. Fans online weren't just angry, they were calling for people to lose their jobs. The argument spreading through comment sections and fan forums is that the Fever waited until the money was already secured before announcing Clark was out, and that the timing looks a lot less like a medical decision and a lot more like the organization protecting ticket revenue.
I don't know what they do now. They were already having a hard time putting fans in the seats because of what happened last year. Now they've done it again. And something I need to bring up. If this is a legit back injury, although some people are very much speculating that this is a suspension because of what happened with the coach and Caitlin Clark the other day, we've all sat back. We've known something's going on with the back.
Whether you can prove that or not doesn't really matter at this point because the fans who flew in from out of the country already believe it, and they're not giving Indiana the benefit of the doubt anymore. They're not buying merch. They're not recommending games to friends. They're not showing up. The Fever can print "sold out" in their attendance report, but that photograph of 7,000 empty seats is already out there, and the roster Indiana built before the season even started raises questions that are a lot harder to explain away. All the off-court chaos aside, the players who actually took the floor on May 20th put together a genuinely good game, and they deserve credit for it.
And they're coming off a win. Portland is a 1-point win over Connecticut on Monday. Entry feed to Aaliyah Boston, who gets the Fever started. She's been aggressive early, tiptoeing the baseline, circles back around. Boston is open, and she hits a three.
What a start.
That is Indiana's 4th turnover here in the first quarter. Boston all sorts of space, and she won't miss from there.
That's too easy.
Aaliyah Boston had missed Indiana's previous game with her own injury, so her return against Portland already had something to prove. She came back and dropped 24 points and 8 rebounds, and what made it work wasn't one big run where she took over and everyone noticed. She went on 2 separate scoring stretches that kept Indiana's lead comfortable enough that Portland never really sniffed a comeback. Every time the Fire tried to tighten things up, Boston answered, and the game stayed out of reach because of it.
They're clearing it out. This is a matchup that Suge Sutton wants to take to the paint.
But the shot clock's down to 1, and Boston sends it back. Boston fakes the handoff, bounces Mitchell, back for Boston. Oh yeah!
Lexi Hull was something else entirely. She went 4 for 4 from 3, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, finished with 16 points, and her true shooting percentage for the game ranks 2nd in WNBA history for any player who scored at least 15 points. 2nd, all time.
Harris down the hole on the relocate triple, and it is good. Cornerstone cash money for Lexi Hull. On any injuries, want to keep everybody safe. Lexi Hull pulls and connects from outside.
That's not a trivia answer you throw out casually. That's a historically rare shooting night that happened in a game where most of the conversation centered on who wasn't even dressed. Stephanie White called her the Energizer Bunny for us after the game, and that's accurate, because Hull also took a charge and pulled down 8 rebounds on top of being perfect from the floor. She'd scored 9 points in each of her 2 previous games, so this wasn't a player who'd been on a hot streak building towards something. She just went out and had the kind of night most players never get once in their careers.
Lexi Hull. Yeah, with some space in the corner, and Hull rattles in the triple.
An off night tonight, but the shot.
Lexi Hull! Nothing off about her night, Tamika. A perfect 4 for 4 from outside tonight for Hull.
Kelsey Mitchell added 21 points. Tyasha Harris ran the offense for nearly 30 minutes and finished with 7 assists. And Portland shot 3 for 16 from 3, which is 19%. Indiana led wire-to-wire, their first wire-to-wire win of the season. And by the time the 4th quarter started, the game was already decided. Final score, 90-73, and it wasn't that tense at the end.
First 9, so 31 straight. Backdoor, here is Mitchell, it's a 4-point possession.
Hull's true shooting percentage got there because she kept getting clean looks and well-designed spacing, and the Fever executed the offense well enough to make Portland look completely lost on defense. But who was still on the floor in that 4th quarter and why is where things get uncomfortable fast. So here's the theory that's been floating around Fever fan community since before the season started, and the Portland game didn't just leave it open, it made it a lot harder to ignore. Before the 2026 season, Indiana drafted and signed multiple point guards in free agency. Not one backup, multiple. At the time, that looked weird for a team already built around a point guard who runs everything. The organization called it depth, and most people accepted that and moved on. But the fan theory was something different. The front office already knew Clark had a back problem and was quietly building a safety net around it without saying so publicly. Backs don't just break down an hour before tip-off. That's not how back injuries work. If Clark's back was bad enough to scratch her with no advance notice on May 20th, that problem almost certainly existed before May 20th. which means the Fever knew about it before May 20th, which means the silence on every injury report leading up to that game wasn't an oversight. It was a choice.
I mean, wow. We're really here. Fans are not, they already didn't trust this organization. Now what? And the WNBA, let's make something clear. The WNBA is not in a position to start load management. You're not the NBA. And by the way, they've lost a ton of fans over load management. But the WNBA is not in that position. Fans are going to quit showing up.
So when you go back and look at all those point guard signings with that context in mind, they read completely differently. You know your starting point guard might miss time because of something you're not disclosing publicly, so you sign guards, you draft guards. You make sure Tyasha Harris has enough reps to step in and run a clean offense when she needs to. And then Clark misses a game and Harris does exactly that. 7 assists in 30 minutes, looking completely prepared because she probably was. Then there's what happened in the fourth quarter against Portland. Indiana was up big, the game was over, and Kelsey Mitchell stayed on the floor and kept logging minutes, while the lead sat at 17 or more. That's fine on its own, but earlier this season, when comes specifically from her running things. The roster construction, the late scratch, the contradictory statements, the uneven treatment of players during blowouts, that's not a series of unrelated decisions. That's a pattern from an organization that knew more than it said.
Am I good?
See you guys on Friday.
Caitlin Clark is the best thing that's ever happened to the Indiana Fever. And the organization has now spent 2 straight off-seasons finding ways to make that complicated. The boycott on May 20th wasn't just fans venting about one late scratch. It was the buildup of a fan base that's watched Indiana repeatedly make decisions that work against the one thing that makes the Fever worth watching. Empty seats at a Caitlin Clark game used to be unthinkable. You couldn't get tickets. People were paying absurd resale prices just to be in the building. Now there's video footage of 7,000 empty seats, and Stephanie White is standing at a podium saying Clark is healthy but also has a back issue, but also the team isn't managing anything. And when reporters pushed her for a straight answer, she landed on, "I'm not a doctor, so I don't know." That's the coach. That's the person running this team.
Stephanie White says Caitlin Clark did not participate in practice yesterday. Getting treatment instead, she woke up with stiffness. For us, it's not a time to take the chance. She said she doesn't anticipate it being ongoing, but adds she's not a doctor. No shit. She's healthy. We're not managing anything. She's healthy. This is a back issue that we want to make sure we give her plenty of time to be ready. That's a contradiction right there. She's healthy, but you're not managing anything? This is a back issue? She's healthy. This is a back issue. All in the same damn statement. We officially aren't believing them. This was put out. This notification at this time violates the league rules by almost a full day of reporting. WNBA teams must report information concerning player injuries, illnesses, medical conditions, or rest for all WNBA games by 5 p.m. local time the day before the game.
Clark's under contract, she's healthy enough to play most games, and this roster with her in the lineup has a real shot at something special in 2026. Boston is back and looked completely dominant against Portland. Hull is shooting at a rate that almost never happens in this league. Mitchell is still one of the most dangerous scorers on any given night. When Clark's running the offense the way she ran it at Iowa, distributing, pulling defenders out of the paint, creating open looks for exactly these players, Indiana stops being a good team and starts being a genuine championship conversation. But if the front office keeps handling Clark's health this way, keeps making roster and coaching decisions that seem to work around her instead of through her, and keeps giving fans 100-minute scratches with contradictory explanations attached, They're going to learn fast how quickly a fan base that flew across the country can decide to stop flying. That's not a threat. That's just what already happened on May 20th. Fans didn't just stay home. They bought tickets, committed to travel, and then chose to leave those seats empty as a direct response to how Indiana treated them. That's a different and much worse problem than fans simply not buying tickets. A league fine, if the WNBA issues one, costs Indiana some money and some embarrassment. That's manageable. What's not as easy to manage is a franchise player who watches how she's being handled, watches her coach say, "I'm not a doctor," when asked a basic question about her health, watches her fan base stage a visible boycott, and starts thinking carefully about what her future with this organization actually looks like. Clark's young, she's on a rookie-scale contract, and she's got options down the road. The Fever need her a lot more than she needs any particular city. The talent on this roster is real, and Clark at the center of it could make Indiana genuinely dangerous by 2026. That window exists. Indiana just keeps finding new ways to stand in front of it. What should the Indiana Fever do to get the trust of the fans back? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss out on all things basketball. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.